Hi everyone. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to multiply linear expressions. So let's go ahead and look at the first problem. All right, so we do have to distribute this 3 to every term inside the parentheses. However, we should stop and look inside the parentheses. Do we have like terms that we can combine first? And in this case, we do. This term right here has an x term, and this term has an x term. So these are like terms that we can combine. So we're going to do that first. So 2x minus 5x, that's negative 3x, plus 8. Okay, now we can just go ahead and use the distributive property to distribute the 3 to every term inside the parentheses. 3 times negative 3x is negative 9x. And 3 times 8 is plus 24. That's it. All right, let's go ahead and try the next one. Again, look inside the parentheses to see if there are any terms you can combine. And in this case, we can. We have 7x here and 3x here. These are like terms. We should combine them first. So that's what I'm going to do. 7x minus 3x, that's 4x, plus 6. Okay, so I've combined this term and this term to get 4x. So now let's just distribute. Negative 4 times 4x is negative 16x, and negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. And that's it. You can't simplify that anymore. All right, let's go to number 3. Let's look inside again to see if there's anything we can combine. And in this case, we can combine 5x and 10x together. So that's what we're going to do. 5x and 10x, well, that's 15x minus 3. And now we can distribute 1/2 times 15, or you can look at it like this. You can turn this into a fraction if you want. 1 times 15 is 15. 2 times 1 is 2, but don't forget there's an x here, so we need to keep that x with this term. So it's 15x over 2. Let's do the same thing here. Let's turn this into a fraction if you want. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3, and 2 times 1 is 2. We can simplify that if we want. We can actually leave it like that. If we simplify that and turn this into a decimal, this will be negative 7.5x minus 1.5. Or you could just leave it in fraction form. All right, so we're going to go to number 4. We're going to combine 2x plus 6x. We'll have 8x minus 3y. All right, since we have a fraction outside that we're going to distribute, we can turn these into fractions simply by dividing by 1. 3 times 8x is 24x. 4 times 1 is 4. 3 times minus 3y is minus 9y. And 4 times 1 is 4. All right, so we can simplify that some more. 24x divided by 4 is 6x. And we can simplify that. 4 goes into 9, 2 times, and 1/4 left over, 2, and 1/4 y. All right, moving on to number 5. First, look and see if you have like terms you can combine, and we do. So we'll do that first. 6x plus 9x, that's 15x. Okay, you can use your calculator right now if you like, because we have decimals. 0.2 times 15, that's going to give us 3x. So we're distributing. And if we distribute 0.2 to negative 7m, that's going to be 1.4m. Okay? And we can't go any further because we don't have like terms here to combine. So that's as far as we can go with that. Let's go to the next one. Look and see if we can combine like terms. We can. We have 10b, 1b, and 10b. So we're going to combine those like terms, 10, 20, 21b. You can use your calculator if you like. 0.3 times 21b is 6.3b. And that's it. Let's keep going. All right, 2x times 5x. So you could look at this problem like this. We could rewrite it. That means the same thing as 2 times 5 times x times x. Okay, 2 times 5 is 10. And you know when you have powers with the same base, remember that you could look at this as a power raised to the power of 1. If there's no power, it's always 1. So you have a power raised to the first power here, you have another power here raised to the first power. So we're going to keep the same base x and add the exponent to 1 plus 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. So what I used here is the product rule, okay, that allows you to keep the base and add the exponents. So we end up with 10x squared. So I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. I'm going to rewrite this. This can be rewritten as -5 times 3 times k times k. Since there are no powers, it's automatically understood to be 1. So I'm going to write it in. -5 times 3 is -15. This will be k. Keep the same base k and add the exponent to 1 plus 2. That'll give us, 1 plus 1. That'll give us 2. So it's -15 k squared. All right, why don't you try the next one on your own and come back and check. I'm going to continue. So that's 4 times 5, that's 20. Keep the same base g and add the exponent. 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, why don't you go ahead, pause the video, and come back and check and see how you did with 10 and 11. All right, I'm going to continue. So that's the same thing as 7 times 9 times y to the first times y squared. So that's 63 y to the third. All right, so this is the same thing as -6 times 5 times b to the first times b squared. Again, when there's no power, it's automatically understood to be to the power of 1. -6 times 5 is -30. Keep the same base b and just add the exponent. 1 plus 2 is 3. All right, moving on to number 12. So all we have to do here is distribute -2.5 to 3.2p and distribute it to 3 here. Okay, so let's start with this one here. -2.5p times 3.2p. I'm going to write that down. So this is -2.5 times 3.2 times p times p, because we have a p here and p here. So I just rewrote it with the numbers next to each other. Now we can multiply -2.5 times 3.2. That'll give us -8. And then p to the first times p to the first is p squared. Okay? Now let's go ahead and multiply this times this. So that's going to give us negative because we have a negative and a positive. It's going to give us -7.5. -2.5 times 3 is -7.5 p because we have a p there. I'll write that right here. So that's our answer right here. All right, let's keep going. So 2.3 times z is 2.3z. And 2.3 times 1.7 is negative 3.91. Again, with these decimals, use your calculator. All right, let's keep going. All right, 1.6 times x is 1.6x, and 1.6 times negative 3.9 is negative 6.24. All we did was distribute and multiply. All right, so again, look and see if we can combine like terms inside the parentheses, and it looks like we can, but before we combine like terms, we should turn this mixed number into a fraction just like this one here. So this becomes, let me use a different color. So 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1, so that's the same thing as 4/3 x. So I can take 2/3 x plus 4/3 x and add them together. And that's what I'm going to do. So 2/3 x plus 4/3 x, well, because they have the same denominator 3, I can keep the same denominator 3, and I can just add the numerators. 2x plus 4x is 6x plus 12. Okay, I can even simplify that some more if you want to do it that way. That gives us 2x plus 12. Okay, now we can just distribute the fraction. You can turn this into a fraction if you want. This into a fraction. 3 times 2x is 6x. 4 times 1 is 4. Distribute this to this. 3 times 12 is 36. And 4 times 1 is 4. We can simplify some more. 4 goes into 6 one time, and 1/2 left over. We could say 2/4, which is the same thing as 1/2. Plus 9. All right, let's continue on to the last one. Look for like terms that you can combine. We can combine this term and this term. Let's turn this into a fraction first. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1. That's 16/5x. Again, they have the same denominators, so it'll be easy to add these. All right, so we're going to keep the same denominator, 5. 2x plus 16x is 18x plus 10. All right, we can go ahead and turn this into a fraction and then distribute. So this will give us 18x in the numerator. 2 times 5 is 10. We'll distribute this to this. And we'll get 20/2. And then we can simplify that some more. 10 goes into 18 one time, and 8/10 left over. X plus 10. We can actually reduce that to 1 4/5 x plus 10. Okay, and this concludes this lesson on multiplying linear expressions.